Good morning, ladybugs and boo bugs. It's your favorite love bug. I'm here this morning. Basically, I have to tell y'all some stuff, right? So before I can tell you about, um, I was going to talk to you about how I lost my virginity and stuff like that. Cause once when I go from there and tell y'all from there, um, that's when we start getting to the nitty gritty of the trauma committee. Okay. Mm. All right. So let me get myself together. I'm forever again made a cot on the floor, y'all. It's just comfortable. I feel so comfortable down here. So I do it. Instead of sleeping in my room, I freaking do it. But okay. So before I tell y'all about me losing my virginity, I feel like it's very important for me to tell y'all about a really a time in my life. So, when living up in Mr. Village with my grandma, my mom ended up getting with my little brother dad. Fast forward to we end up moving down Gilmore Projects. When we moved down Gilmore Projects, I loved it. Like we had so much fun. Like my mother let me outside, not every day, probably every other day, but not every day. But I was allowed to go outside, had fun with the kids in the neighborhood. Like we all had a blast together. Like, there was no such thing as your child being wrong and the neighbor couldn't correct your child and all this other stuff. Like everybody stuck together. Um, and I love that, like, those times. That was beautiful. However, moving forth, uh I wanna okay. Moving forth, we end up moving down Gilmore. Fun. Boom. Um, it had got to a time where my little brother dad, um, he ended up cheating on my mother. Like, and it was real bad. And I have to speak on this because it's a part of my life. And even though it's not my story, it's a part of my trauma. Okay, because yeah, it's just a part of my trauma. It's a part of some things that I've witnessed and experienced because it's just a part of my trauma. So let's go. So I remember my little brother dad had stepped out on my mother and cheated on my mother. Um, my mother was so distraught. Like I have not ever seen my mother like that in my life. Okay, like not ever in my life. Anybody that know my mother would tell you like that man had my mother up. Okay, real bad. Um, I remember being with my mother. We was in the car, and I remember being with my mother and her finding out about the other chick. Um, her finding out about another baby, like her finding out about them living so close to our home, like and remind you like you would have never knew nothing was like out of the ordinary. Um, and I'm saying this as a child because like as a child, I remember him always coming home. He just was always there. He was just always there. Um, anything that we needed, it was there. It was like it wasn't nothing that we didn't need. Um, so that's what I mean. Like you couldn't tell was nothing was out of the ordinary. Like home was taken care of. Okay. But I just remember being in the car with my mom when she found out about the chick and riding up to the house and wilding out and all that. Like I remember all that. And then I like as a child just watching that, like her go through that. Like I watched my mother go days, weeks, and months without eating, going through a depression every day, crying. Like Only other time I had seen her cry in my life is when she had a wisdom tooth. You feel me? So when that happened, like, yo had broke my mother in a way I never seen her. Okay? He broke her in a way I never seen her. And like that irritated me as a child because it was like, but for him coming in the picture, like it was me and my mother, we was good. My mother was doing her thing. This, that, and third. Like we was enjoying life, having a ball. You know, he come in her life with all the lies and the bull stuff and the cheating and had the whatever. Like that was a lot on her, and that was a lot on me because why it was a lot on me because I had lost my mother. I lost my mother when you played mental games. Like that's why I say it's so important. It's so important. Our mental is so important, and it's so important to not allow a man to play with your mental. Okay, and I'm not saying that she allowed him to play with her mental. I'm saying when you love someone so much and you're loyal to them, I'm trying to tell you these men will use, like they will manipulate the heck out of you. I'm not gonna say he used her. He manipulated the heck out of her. I don't care what nobody say. As a child, I remember sitting there watching her go through this. And for like, I get it's his family, so I get it. That's his family. But them motherfuckers never like checked him for his wrong. Nobody never like, yo, you wrong. You out here playing with women's heads with their with their mental. Like you really thought that was okay? Like you really thought that was not okay? So with that, my mother had my little brother, of course. But when Yo did that, like we lost our mother. Like we lost our mother. One thing I learned, and I never paid attention to, but I just learned this recently, is that I had more time with her than my little brother had with her. But I don't like how it's always made out that she just left. She didn't just leave. She was mentally fucked with. And the fact that her mental was fucked with so much, she wasn't feeding us. She wasn't getting up to wash us. She wasn't feeding herself. She was in that bed, slumped, crying, ooh, boo hoo tears, cry herself to sleep, wake back up, bloodshot red eyes, doing it all again. She tried to feed us. She'll get up to feed us. But being doing things as a mother was supposed to do, that came hard to her. That came hard to her. I remember watching her still having us before she sent us to go with our dads to get her mind right, because that's what it was. Don't think because I was a child that I don't remember that. I remember all that. That's my trauma. If she was still here, she'd tell you. I always made clear to her before she passed away, like, you ain't never been yourself since he came in the picture. When he came in the picture, it was a wrap. And he did all that. It was a wrap. It was like, I don't know what he did. He toyed with her in a way I ain't never seen. Nobody should be doing to anybody. Okay? All right. I remember still being a child and still trying to, like, her girlfriends coming to her. Come on, Yolanda. Get up. Let's go. They coming over there getting her. Let's go. Get out this house. Let's go. Food all in the bed, trash all over the place. I remember that. I had to watch her go through that. I watched that. He did too. He just don't remember. He was too little. He was too little. But I remember those girlfriends going over there. Come on, let's go. Them getting her out the house. They went through it. So they understood what she was going through. It was just that my mother was confused. She was confused. Like, nigga, what? How? When? And I get it. Because when everything came out, me as a child, and I seen a baby that was after my little brother, I was confused as a child. I remember used to be in the backseat looking at this little girl like, how, when, and where? When did this happen? Where did she come from? I remember asking those questions to myself. I could never ask my mother. Well, I did, but it was my motherfucking, you know, my mother ain't played it. Then, you know, like not minding my business. So I just remember always asking questions to myself, looking around, trying to pay attention. Like I used to watch his parents too, you know, the grandparents, the sisters and the brothers. I used to look at all of them and like, when, how, and how everybody used to just try to smile in my mother's face, like everything was just like so okay. Like, hey Yolanda, it's okay, Yolanda. Like, it's okay. You just take it. Just take it. And just keep smiling, keep going, just take it out. Like, I never understood none of that. And my mother was a G. But she stayed around for that. She stayed in that. She was better than me. Only reason why I stayed around and paid attention because I was just there for her. Because I just always was in my head like one day somebody's gonna whoop your ass. One day the whole family gonna turn on you. That's why I just used to think. I never shared that with her, but I used to think it's one day, because it just don't. How? How does this make sense? Like this is okay? How is that okay? Okay? But yeah, I remember being a child and you know how homegirls, I don't want to say people names and stuff, they was living in the projects and stuff. And I loved them. Oh my gosh, I love these women, okay? I remember one, um, she was a mother of a young man, but she was strong. I remember that the dad, something was going on with the dad. I think the dad got his dad got murdered or something like that. She was strong. Always looked up to her for her strength. She had a sister. Her sister had a child. If I'm not mistaken, that child dad was murdered too. And where the strength came at that I was respecting them on like on some strong stuff type level. They all hang together. They bring my mother around like, come on, they getting up. I remember them hearing them talking to her, letting them know like, yo, that's just how these niggas is. That's how they doing it. And they was just like, you know, and my mother, I always paid attention to her. She just like, nah, man. That face expression was like, nah, like, I get it. She was just like, I get that's how these niggas is, but she was just like, nah, this ain't okay type stuff. I always noticed that about her face expression, like, nah. Like, my mother was baffled by how men was okay. It was okay for men to do stuff like that. And it was just like everybody made it out as women. Everybody made it out to be okay because that's just what they do. Like it was never okay. But I'm not saying that it was just that's what I felt. I'm not saying that was my mother words or whatever, but that's just what I felt that my mother was thinking because I watched her so much. All I could do was watch her face expressions. All I could do was listen to these conversations. All I could do was watch her friends' face expressions, their movements and stuff. We were supposed to be running around, in the projects and stuff like that. They used to tell me all the time, go over there and play, go play. With Momo and them, go play, go play. I ain't play with them. Like I played with them, but I played with them at certain times. It was certain conversations I just needed to hear because I needed answers. I needed answers. I had questions. I was a child. Because one thing what people fail to realize, when you go around hurting the parents, that's a dynamic effect on a child. That that creeps over to that child. It ain't just that parent that's experiencing that. You now hurting the home. You hurting the home. But okay. Um, But I remember those girls used to tell her that, and and I remember the other sister. She had a daughter. The father had passed away, and I've admired their strength because the father had passed away, and apparently the father had another daughter, and they were so strong to the point they was like, we're gonna put our differences to the side, and they all the mothers was now hanging together. They was all cool, this, that, and the third. I love that for them. They looked out for each other, helped each other, you know. But my mother, what was going on was it was mentally messing with her so much. Like I seen the shift in her relationship with them. I seen it because how her mindset was about the situation. It was like it wouldn't change. She wouldn't let it go. I noticed that. Whether those ladies say if that was right or wrong, I'm not sure. That with Why their relationship ended is their reason, whatever. Because like I said, I was a child. I don't know everything. I just know what I seen and what I feel like what was what. And yeah, but I admired that. But him doing all that and bringing all that ruckus inside, then you still messing around, you still messing around with it and stuff like that. The merge. I was with her when she found out about the merge. Like what? Like you should have just took a damn knife and gutted her. Like, cause what the fuck is you doing? That's all you should have did. But at this time, like it was too much for her. And I watch it become too much for her. I watch her lose her mind and try to get herself back again and lose it again, try to get herself back again. I watch her go from having multiple cars and having more than one job, learning sign language, teaching it to me. I watch her from going from doing hair, having her little side hustles, making money to nothing, to losing everything because of a nigga and his lies and his manipulation. I watched that. I watched that nigga go inside of my mother and suck the life soul, whatever it was she had left in her, and took it out. I watched that. And in return, we lost our mother. We lost our mother. But my brother never got a real good chance to experience his mother. He never got a chance to experience his mother. Not because she was weak and gave him up. No, because of manipulation and games that was played on her mind. Even when merge was still in play, it was still games that was still being played too. So I'm so sick and tired of everybody keep trying to play my mother like she's just some weak ass bitch. She never been, she never was. She just had a weak ass nigga playing upon her mental. That's all it was. And she was so damn loyal that she stuck by that nigga sock. She loved him so much. She loved him so much. So goddamn much. And this goes shots out for the fathers too. Shots to the father. Because when you go and take the time to sit and love on your child, your kids, and stop jumping from, oh, I'm gonna get to you. Because if this Michael, if you would have just took the time, all this could have been avoided. This could have been a curse that could have been stopped. It could have been a curse that could have been stopped. Okay. But she was losing her mind in that daggone house. She still continued trying to be a mother. She still tried to be there for her. I watch her try to get back up and go outside. I watch her. I guess outside wasn't enough. She wasn't getting the answer she needed, enough air or something. I watched her go back in the house and go back in the door. I watched her. And I don't remember when enough was enough for her, but I just remember, I don't remember my brother being dropped off to his dad, but I remember me being dropped off to mine. Um, and when she dropped me off, she knew my dad, during that time, like my dad was just, my father was and always has been a bitter nigga. Okay, he always been bitter. Like everything about him, his mindset, his lifestyle, it just always been bitter. The minute that she left and went about her business, she was bitter. Like she just, everything. She could never did nothing right. Even when she was doing stuff right, he just was a bitter nigga. He ain't know how to be happy for nobody. He don't know how to be happy for nobody. Like anybody in his circle, you cool with him and all this other stuff. Only people he probably say congratulations to is probably my stepmother family. That's it. That's all. And y'all probably don't even get that. You don't. He a bitter nigga. He don't. He's not happy for nobody. He won't congratulate you on shit. Like bitter ass nigga. Okay. Ugh. So went to go stay with him. He didn't want. And she made it known that she was bringing me. He tried to make like he not home. Basement like always on. You don't got no job. You don't go nowhere. You hide out in the basement. I don't know what you're running from, but he was running from something. He was always in that basement. And leave it to him because the judge said, I remember what the judge said. You remember you took me to court with you? I guess because you thought me going to court with you would stop you from getting yourself locked up. Did stop you from getting locked up that day, at that moment. But I remember the judge telling you that if he see your ass again, that was 10 years. I remember I was there. I don't know why people, my loves be thinking I'm dumb, y'all, because they be thinking because people be kids, they don't remember, they don't know how to go back, and they don't. I'm not everybody else. I'm so spiritual. I'm so goddamn on spiritual. I'm so spiritual. I don't know how. I know how to do it, but I know how to do it, and I know how to close my eyes. And I don't. At that moment, it's all on the feeling. I don't know if it to take a rock or just deep breaths to the gut, like I'm doing yoga. And I know how to start with a memory, a childhood memory, and I know how to go real back just to remember everything. I don't know how I know how to do this, but I thank Jesus. I thank him. However, go stay with my dad. Couldn't stand it. Could not freaking stand it. Um, During that time that I was staying with my dad, I just remember like my dad always had it was always a different female. It was always a different female. Females, it was a Sharonda, Lawanda, Tawanda, like it was always a different female. And it was so crazy because it was like when one was coming in, one was going out. Like that's how crazy it was. Like I remember, and it's so crazy because I just remember like that damn screen door because I used to be so nosy. He'd go to the door, and I go right behind him, standing at the door trying to peek and see who the heck coming in. Now I remember the girl with the red car and all this other stuff. And like during that time, um, I remember watching my dad. I used to watch my dad during that time beat on women. Um, when during that time, girls used to come over, this, that, and the third. But my dad, him and my cousins was real close and all this other stuff. So my cousin's dad owned a house up there near the 5 Mile up there near Park Heights, the better Park Heights, the 5 Mile house. So their dad had owned a house up there near the train tracks. And I remember my dad used to take me up there all the time. We'd go up there and stuff like that. And baby, they would all get drunk, rap, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. But my dad had a hand problem. I used to watch my dad beat the hell out them girls on them train tracks. I used to watch him beat women, like 3 different women on them train tracks. Never understood it. Like I remember one of the girls, the girl that he was dealing with, when we was down Douglas home that had the child, she left my father because of his hand problem. That's how much of a hand problem my father had. Like she left my dad because of his hand problem. When she left, my father was so distraught. Like he was like irritated, like angry. Like my father had problems within himself that he always needed to work on. Okay, so boom, fast back forward to so when she dropped us off, I was always with my dad, and he go around the world and make known, yeah, she just dropped off. She threw her up in the vestibule and poured off. They be like, you lying? He like, he'd tell him, ex me, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. She left me, all this other stuff. She put me right there. And she knocked on the door and ran, which was true. It was true. Um, as a child, I knew she was going through a lot, but I didn't really understand and have understanding until I grew up and became an adult. Then I had understanding what was going on, what she was going through. Because at that moment, as a child, excuse me, all I can honestly tell you, I felt like I didn't feel love. I was hurt. Because all I could think about was like, why would you just drop me off like this? Like, you park the car, you put the car in park, well, double park, bring me and my bags to the house, and you drop me off in the vestibule, shut the door, bang, and dip. And it was more so because she knew he was in that basement, and I did too. Because the light was on. But during this time, my dad was so much of a bitter nigga because, oh, she was dealing with, who, my little brother dad at that time or whatever, when it came to getting your child or, your child need this and the third. Well, why you ain't get your nigga to do it? Like, you know how many times she had me hear that? But I was a child. I was a little girl. And one thing about us girls, we don't play about our daddies. We love our daddies. Okay? So just hearing them say that, it like, I remember like being a child, it like a little damper on my heart, but not too much. Like it ain't really affect me or phase me because like it was like, oh, for real, all right, whatever. Like I didn't really know nor understand or comprehend too much of what I was hearing at that time, you know. So yeah, but I'm gonna put y'all right here on my thing because I'm about to grab what you call. Give me a second. You can still hear me. Yes. All right. But yeah. So like when they was together, when she was with my little brother dad, he wouldn't help my mother with me. He wouldn't get me nothing, no clothes, shoes, or anything. Nigga barely even got me because she had a nigga. Oh, well, where your nigga at? Why your nigga ain't get her? Oh, y'all ain't playing. He ain't got to play daddy today. Oh, you got a nigga over there playing daddy in my door, this, that, and third. Man, they never try to play daddy to me. If anything, he was just helping you out because you wasn't stepping up in certain ways and stuff like that. So he like, let me help you. You feel me? That's all it was. Like, it wasn't like he was trying to be my daddy. That man had his own child, brothers and sisters to take care of, his own family to take care of. That man wasn't worried about, taking care of me, but he was dealing with my mother. So, of course, yeah, he helped. Whatever I wanted, whatever I needed, I had. We ain't want or need for nothing. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, my dad was so bitter even when, you know, he did step on out on my mother and, and she was going through all that hurt and pain and stuff like that. She brought me to my dad and took my brother to his dad so she can get her mental right. She didn't give up on us. It was so she could get her mental right. Yes, she could have gave us to my grandmother, but she did not want to do that. Why? Because we have dads. My grandmother had her own life. She still had my aunt and my uncle. Yeah, they was my uncle. What he was grown. My aunt, she was grown. What teenager on her way to be grown. But at the end of the day, when anybody needed or wanted anything, who they kept going back to? Ma, this, that, and the third. So she didn't want that. All she wanted was the support from her kids' dads to get your children. Let me get my mind together and I'm going to come back and get my children. If my mother knew dropping my brother off to his dad to get her mind right, that she would never have got him back, my mother wouldn't never did that. I know for a fact that was one of the biggest regrets. That's probably the only regret my mother had in her life. I know that for a fact that's the only regret my mother had in her life. The only one. And that lady, she don't regret shit. She just live life and, keep it going. She just take every lesson as they come. But I had to speak about this first. Okay. So then go stay with my dad. My mother comes back and she do come back and get me. Before my mom come back and get me, um, matter of fact, let me rewind it back. When my mom had dropped me off to my dad, she did not drop me off with clothes. Why? Because my mom did not plan on leaving me there alone. She just wanted a little time to get her mind right. So she did not drop me off with clothes. When she dropped me off with my dad, at that time and at that moment, my dad had now started dealing with somebody we gonna call her Countrified. The name will get changed a lot. Countrified. My dad had started dealing with Countrified. So when I had came down and she dropped me with no clothes, my dad started dealing with Countrified. My dad was working at this warehouse. When my dad was working at the warehouse, Countrified was working at the warehouse too. Um, just let you know how much of a nosy mother lover I was as a child. And it wasn't just nosy. I just paid attention to every dang on thing. Like I did. But okay. So Country Fried and my dad was working at a warehouse. And Country Fried was dealing with this guy that was beating her tail. Okay. So my dad, he all in her butt about, oh, you want to be dealing with a nigga that's beating on you, this, that, and the third. Because she was just basically saying to my dad, like, she had to go back home. Like, she had to go back to the nigga. Mind you, and if I'm not mistaken, she had stayed the night or something. But she just had to go back to the nigga and all this other stuff. And my dad was saying to her, oh, you want to go back to a nigga that's going to beat on you, this, that, and the third, or whatever, whatever, whatever. What she didn't even know is my dad beat on women too. At that moment, she didn't know that. When my mom dropped me off for clothes, I remember Country Fire had got paid, and Country Fire had a check inside that she had just cashed, and Country Fire had a all clear see-through purse. Country Fire took me to the store. Country Fire bought me some clothes, so I can have. My dad was real excited about that. He was going around calling everybody, telling everybody, like, yeah, that B ain't bring. She dropped her off at the door right in the vestibule. Well, what if nobody wasn't even home? Because you know my mother and them was at church, so they wasn't even here. This, that, and the third. Good thing we was here sitting down in the basement. But I'm just saying, that's not something you do. Why would you do that? Yeah, yo, I know. Dumb man be. Man's I don't know what I had a child with her. Da-da-da-da. Like, yo, I remember this like crazy, so vividly. It's crazy. So, Country Fire took us, get some clothes. He called the whole world, letting the whole world know, like, yeah, Country Fire had, bought her some clothes and this, that, and third because what my mother did and how she's so dumb. And then what irritated me is because, like, you could tell Country Five wanted to talk about my mother so bad, but she didn't know how far it was okay or how far she can go, right? So every time my father would say something about my mother, talk about my mother, stop, Tony, don't talk about that girl mother like that, but you're laughing, but you're smiling. You thought that was cute. You thought that was funny. Right? And Country Five would just be smirking and all that. So she'd be on the phone with her mother and her sister and all that. And yeah, cause she did this and yeah, I'm gonna let you talk. I'm passing the phone, Tony, yeah, da, da, da. And then telling all my business. All my mother business, yeah, because that nigga left her. She lost something. She losing her mind. That's what she get for leaving me, taking all my money to him, and da 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 da, and da 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 do, and woo da woo da woo, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, what the freak? Like, I just used to listen to all this. All this. And tell the whole world, yeah, she left me and spent all my money. Yeah, while I'm locked up, she's spending all my money on this nigga, and this, that, and the third, and da 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 da. And it's just like, what the freak? Let me tell you something. I don't remember a time that my mother was messing with my father when he was locked up. Every time my father got locked up, I recall my mother taking her tail right back over west. And if it wasn't her, it was me. Just me going back over west. I don't recall my mother doing all that. I don't recall my father having money, okay? Not even from a kid on to an adult. I don't recall my father ever having money. So it's just be annoying when you hear all that bull. But my mom ended up coming back and getting me some time after that. So before I left to go back to my mom, my dad is now with Country Five. So now from here, I'm trying to figure out, do I want to stop? Do I want to pause this and give y'all what it is from here? Yep, yep, cause, yep, yeah. So, okay, ladybugs and boo bugs. Um, this is your favorite love bug, and then this. I'm going to end this one right here. And this is basically speaking on how outside relationships, how relationships can affect the child as well. Yeah, so this is what this is about. Basically, how relationships can affect the child as well. Okay? Okay. I love you all. Okay. Love you all. And I see you on the next one.